Lily, the microwave, was not always in the world of Sprunki. This is her sad origin story. Lily and the microwave have a very interesting story, and this is how it all happened. In a factory dedicated to crafting microwaves, it operated tirelessly. Among their latest projects was a peculiar prototype, a purple microwave. It was an experiment in design and functionality, destined to stand out among the sea of silver and black models. But on the day of its creation, a violent storm brewed outside. As the factory workers shaped the prototype, a bolt of lightning struck the building, surging through the wiring and into the purple microwave. No one noticed the faint glow it emitted, the subtle hum of energy that didn't fade. The prototype was finished and shipped off, its secrets still undiscovered. The purple microwave traveled far and wide. It sat on store shelves, gleaming and waiting to be chosen, but customers overlooked it. Its bold color felt out of place in kitchens. Store after store rejected it. And eventually, it was deemed unsellable, worn, and unwanted. It was sent to a disposal site for old electronics. Years later, it ended up in a garage sale, battered but still intact. One day, a lonely woman named Lily wandered into the sale. Lily herself had purple hair. She loved that color. And her eyes lit up when she saw the purple microwave. To her, it wasn't just an appliance. It was unique. A reflection of her own feelings of being different and unappreciated. She brought it home, hoping it would bring a touch of warmth to her solitary life. And something about it spoke to her. It was unique, different, just like her, in her apartment. The purple microwave immediately transformed the atmosphere. Its bold, cheerful color seemed to breathe life into the drab kitchen. She started referring to it as her little treasure. Her favorite moment was late at night when she would heat up a cup of tea and sit by the window, gazing at the city lights and listening to the rain patter against the glass. The microwave became more than an appliance to Lily. It became a symbol of hope. One fateful evening, the weather took a turn. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and rain lashed against the windows. She decided to make a simple dinner, a sandwich warmed in her favorite microwave. As the thunder grew louder, Lily placed her sandwich inside the microwave. Her fingers lingered on its door for a moment, and just as she pressed the button to start it, a bolt of lightning struck nearby. The room was bathed in a blinding white light, and then everything went dark. When she awoke, she couldn't move, and she realized with horror she had become one with the microwave, her spirit trapped inside the metal shell. Her loneliness deepened as days turned into weeks. When her landlord found her apartment empty, assuming she had left without notice, her belongings were sold or discarded. She was sent to a second-hand electronics store, where she sat on a dusty shelf, waiting for someone to take her home. Her glowing eyes, faintly visible behind the glass, were mistaken for part of the microwave's design. Shoppers frowned at the peculiar feature, muttering about how unsettling it looked. Each rejection was a blow to Lily's fragile hope. She could see the disdain in their faces, hear the whispers about how creepy the purple microwave looked. She wanted to shout, to tell them that she was alive, that she was trapped and needed help. But all she could do was watch as they walked away, leaving her behind. She sat in the store for weeks, untouched, until the owner decided to get rid of her. From there, dumped at junkyards, garage sales, and donation bins, Lily's loneliness deepened with every passing day. Out on the streets, the harsh weather battered her relentlessly. Rain seeped into her circuits, and the cold of winter left her shivering in her metallic prison. Stray animals would sniff at her cautiously. People who picked her up at garage sales or junkyards would take her home briefly, only to discard her once they noticed the unsettling glow of her eyes at night. The loneliness was unbearable. She longed for someone to look past her appearance and see the woman trapped within. She wanted someone to touch the microwave and feel the warmth of her presence, to understand her silent plea for help. But her glowing eyes, the only remnant of her humanity, had become the very thing that pushed people away. She was left outside in the pouring rain, her once vivid purple exterior scratched and dulled. Snow piled on her during the winter months, and the heat of summer left her baking under the unrelenting sun. Lily held onto a fragile thread of hope. She believed that someone, someday, would see her not as a strange and unsettling object, but as a person, a soul trapped and yearning to be free. One stormy night, she saw a faint light spilling from the window of an old electronics shop. The shop was unlike any she had encountered before, filled with discarded gadgets and a warm melody that seemed to call out to her when she entered the shop. The hum of machinery and the rhythm of music enveloped her. For the first time, in what felt like an eternity, she didn't feel cold or unwanted. The shop seemed to embrace her. Lily felt a transformation begin. She was transitioning into another world, a realm where music and existence were intertwined, and where beings communicated through rhythm and harmony. Her presence manifested as a series of harmonious notes and visual patterns that danced in time with the ambient music. She was forever in the world of Sprunki. Jevin was not always in the world of Sprunki. This is his sad origin story. Jevin was a boy who grew up very poor. He lived with his single mother in a tiny rundown apartment in a poor neighborhood. His mother loved him so much, but didn't have enough money to help him live a healthy life. She worked hard, but life was tough. Jevin only had one piece of clothing, a dark blue hoodie that he wore every day from the day he was born. Jevin's life had been harsh. He didn't have any friends. The other kids in the neighborhood mocked him for his torn clothes and empty pockets. They laughed at him because he wore the dark blue hoodie every day. Life in their tiny home was hard. The walls were cracked, the roof leaked when it rained, and the small rooms were always cold in the winter. They didn't have much furniture, just an old couch, a small table, and a mattress they shared. Most nights, they had little to eat, sometimes just bread and water. Despite the overwhelming hardships, Jevin and his mother shared a love so strong that it often softened the harshness of their reality. Their bond gave them the strength to keep going, and Jevin's mom always smiled at him. She worked long hours at different jobs, cleaning houses or helping in small shops, but she still didn't earn enough money She would come home tired, her hands rough from scrubbing floors and carrying heavy things. Despite her struggles, she always smiled at Jevin and told him everything would be okay. In the evenings, after long days of work, his mother would hum soft tunes. Jevin would sit close by, tapping beats on an old tin can, trying to match her rhythm. She'd smile at him and say, "You've got music in your soul, Jevin. Don't ever lose it." That encouragement stayed with him, even during the darkest times. She gave him as much love as she could, even if she couldn't give him toys, new clothes, or a proper meal. He didn't have a backpack for school, so he carried his books in his arms. Some days, he skipped school altogether because he was too embarrassed. Other kids whispered behind his back and laughed at him. Even the teachers treated him differently, scolding him more than the other kids. Jevin often helped his mother as much as he could. He would go to the market to buy the cheapest vegetables. He wanted to make her proud, but he could see the sadness in her eyes. She often sat by the window late at night, looking out at the dark street, worrying about how she could give Jevin a better life. One winter, things got even worse. Jevin's mom became sick. She couldn't work as much, and their money ran out quickly. Their electricity was cut off, and they had to use candles for light. The cold nights were unbearable, and Jevin often wrapped himself in his blue hoodie, wishing he could make things better. It was during this difficult time that his mom made the painful decision to leave him at the orphanage. She thought it was the only way he might have a chance at a better life.